Alright, this video is for anyone that's looking to make a 3D print of a 3D model that they maybe scanned in using 123D Catch or modeled in 3D modeling software. So for the purposes of this video, we're going to assume that you've already shelled your object. So for example, this object has two meshes. It has an exterior and an interior mesh that we've offset. So we already have the double wall, which is essential for 3D printing. The next thing we need to do is punch a hole in the bottom surface so that we can dump out all the excess powder from the zcorp printer. Otherwise you'll be charged for all that extra material, which gets really expensive. So we need to create a primitive that we can subtract from this base so that we can punch a hole through it. So what I'm going to do is come over here to the three-dimensional primitive toolbar, I guess, and grab a cylinder. And I'm just going to click and drag on the base of my object until I get a cylinder that I think looks good. You can also type in values if you know what specific dimension you want. You just type them in and they'll show up in the top left toolbar. But I'm just going to click and drag. So I click and drag the radius, and then if we come to the side viewport over here and zoom in, we can click and drag a height. So I want to kind of guesstimate what I think that inner wall thickness is. I know for this model it's 0.125, so I'm just going to type in 0.15 to give me the thickness I'm after, so I know I'm a little bit thicker than the thickness of the walls. And so that showed up in the top left toolbar there. So 0.15, hit enter, and it gave me this nice thickness. I'm just going to move that up with this arrow so it's just peeking out the bottom of the surface. Okay, the next thing we need to do, maybe I'll move this down and make it a little bit easier. The next thing we need to do is actually subtract the top and bottom surface from this cylinder, and that's so that we don't have any conflicting geometry when we go to punch the hole. So if I type in explode, it's actually going to break off that top and bottom surface so I can select them independently. And I can just select one, hit delete, select the other bottom surface, hit delete, and now I'm just left with this shallow ring, and I can just move it right back to where I had it, this arrow. If you're having trouble navigating Rhino, by the way, there's some really great, like maybe 15-minute Lynda tutorials that you should have access to that can help you with the interface, because I'm moving around kind of quick, and if this is the first time using Rhino, you might find it difficult. So check out Lynda, it's really helpful. Okay, so now that I have it positioned where I want it to, the command that we're looking for to punch that hole is called mesh boolean. You see it pops up here as I start typing, mesh boolean difference. That's what we're after. So we're going to click that, and it's going to ask me for something. Select first set of meshes. So I want the object, basically, that we want to subtract the circle from. So remember, this is two meshes, so I've selected one, but I want to hold shift and click again, and then I'll get both meshes. And I'll hit enter, and then it's going to ask me for select the second set of meshes, which is going to be that little cylinder that we had. So there I selected that. It's kind of hard to tell, but I got it. Now I'm going to hit enter, and then we'll see that cylinder should, boom, pop a hole in the bottom of our object so we can kind of see into the inside now in our perspective viewport. The problem is that this is still two meshes, so that's going to be problematic when we go to send this to the printer. So we need to join this. So I've got the interior mesh selected now. If I shift click again, I'll get the exterior, and then I can just type join in the command line. And now if we click off and then click again, I get both meshes at the same time. So now it's just one solid mesh. So now we're good to go to send it to the zprint and get the ZBD file, but we need to save it as an STL first. So STL's save file type. If you click this, there's a whole bunch of different file types. You just want the STL, stereolithography. And then I always like to change my STL file format names as well. So I'm just going to put hole, so I know that there's a hole in this now. Okay, and then I'm going to hit save, and I've already done this, so I'm just going to replace it, and this is all okay. Just hit OK, and so we're ready to rock. So now you can take this into zprint and export it as a ZBD and just submit that to the RPC, and you should be able to get that printed, hopefully. Alright, I hope this video is helpful, and again, it's really important to visit the DAP wiki because it has all the requirements, and there's a couple tests in Rhino that you can run to make sure that your printer is going to be your object's going to be printable. So check that out as well.